Trapping plays a very important role in modern-day wildlife management. Professional wildlife biologists monitor fur-bearer populations to maintain a healthy and sustainable harvest of this important, renewable natural resource. Trapping provides recreation and income for licensed trappers across this country. Who's Your Trapper Outdoors is brought to you by Who's Your Trapper Supply. J3 Outdoors, manufacturer of the Hags Bracket and Body Trap Spring Clip. Leatherwood Creek Trapping Scents, Who's Your Trapper Deer Scents, and Leatherwood Wildlife Art.
Welcome to episode 2, season 9 of Who's Your Trapper Outdoors. On this episode, we will return back to our Arkansas trap line. Also, on the end of the show, or the last half of the show, will be a segment on how to skin a coyote. And that reminds me, on our YouTube page, we have a how-to series now. So it's got, some are short, 15 minutes, and some are a little bit longer, for reference on how to make a dirt hole set, how to make wax dirt, how to skin a coyote, how to put up a muskrat, that kind of thing. So for those of you that need a quick reference, you might check out our how-to section on our YouTube page. Just if you go to our website, who'syourtrappersupply.com, click on the Who's Your Trapper Outdoors logo, and then it'll take you to the YouTube page, and you can reference that. And we will continue to add to that how-to series, because instead of watching or trying to find within a show that specific question that you have, we'll have that right there. So hope you find that helpful. We've had a lot of good comments on it so far. So anyways, be sure to check that out. Just want to mention the podcast, Trap House Podcast that Justin does. It's a bit of a challenge with not having trapping conventions, but Justin's definitely continuing with that. We've got to do most of them by Zoom meetings and that kind of thing. So want to thank everybody for the orders. Thank you for stopping by the shop. If you haven't checked out our website, you might check it out at who'syourtrappersupply.com. We've got everything you need for the trap line. And if you don't feel comfortable ordering over on the line, just give us a call here at the shop, and be glad to help you on the phone. Want to mention the Show Us Your Bottle contest. So we give away 2 sets of $100 gift cards for Who's Your Trapper Supply. 2 are for trappers, and 2 are for deer hunters. So the idea is that anything that you've used that we make, the Leatherwood trapping scent line, which includes Top Dog Predator bait, and the deer scent that we produce and make and bottle, take whatever that you've had success with, and your successful catch or kill, and yourself in the photo is what we like to have. So the bottle, your success, get a photo and submit it, and then we'll have a drawing in March and choose 2 winners, 2 for trappers, 2 for deer hunters. So be sure to get those in. Want to thank our sponsor, J3 Outdoors, Jeff Haggerty, good friend, makes a great product. Can't say enough about what he has put into developing that product prior to going to manufacturing. It's just an awesome product. He's thought of everything. He's got several products available. So obviously his most famous being the Hags Bracket. While we're at it, I'm just going to go ahead and do a Q&A right now. And I've got 2 questions that were kind of related. One was trapping on Forest Service roads and avoiding hunting dogs. And the other one was the steps for going about trapping on national forests in a different state. So the first question in relation to dogs, hunting dogs, that kind of thing, and we've run into it too, is squirrel hunters primarily, and night hunters too, will actually turn their dogs loose, and they'll just get in their vehicle and just stay in the vehicle and run down the roads with the dogs. And then if they tree a squirrel or being night hunting a raccoon or whatever, then they take care of it. And obviously with trappers, that can be an issue. Now, we have found that generally we don't do anything out of state until after Christmas, and a lot of that stuff is wound down by then. And we have found that if you're in areas that are not as close to a big population base, your problems will be much, much less as well. So you have every right to be there, assuming that it lines up with the laws in the state. So we got to figure out how to to get along with the dog hunters, try to avoid issues. Clearly I wouldn't want to be setting traps on opening day of running season for raccoons or squirrels or whatever. So it's just something you're going to have to use some common sense about. As far as the national trapping or the national forest trapping, it's very state specific. Most of them are available to trap, but they're going to, so the first thing you have to do is check the state that you're interested in going and see what their regulations are pertaining to that national forest. Generally, it's under the same regulations that the state's under, but sometimes there are exceptions. So that's something that you have to check out. But generally speaking, most national forests are available to trappers, but that's just the starting point. You have to check the state regulations and go that route. So, and then the other question in relation to that is, if you are out of state, do you have to have your animals tagged before you leave the state to come back to your own state? The two that are a must are otter and bobcats, and those are CITES tags, and those have to be tagged before you leave the state. And for instance, here in Indiana, we don't have a bobcat season, so it's very important that we would want those tags on there even if it wasn't required, but it is required. So once that plastic CITES tag's on there, you're in good shape. So yeah, very, very important to have those animals tagged before you leave the state. Generally, there's some other animals that may require a tag too, marten and fisher, that kind of thing. So here again, make sure you check the regulations in the state that you're planning on going. That I can't say that's the number one most important thing. You just have to check that regulations. Most of that stuff's available online, or you can call the office. Usually it's in the state capitol, and get the information from them, and they'll snail mail it to you too. So all of that information is available. So I hope that helps answer the questions, and if you got follow-up questions on that, I will be glad to answer it as well. And we'll get to the other questions that have been asked on upcoming shows. So keep sending those questions in, and we'll definitely answer them the best we can. So I hope you enjoy the show.
Good job, Charlie.
All right. Check day 3. This is the first catch of the day. We're just really getting started. We've checked maybe, 20 sets so far. And this set right here has connected with coyotes in the past. I think that's all this has caught. Maybe it caught a coon months ago. Sets right here off this rock, clearly it's on a drag. And he wants out of there. Anyways, yeah.
Top dog.
Top dog, Vixen Elixir, and Bobcat urine. So good combination. That's one of our classic combinations. In fact, so.
Pulled up on the set, pulled out into the road, flipped off, looked around and seeing deer tracks, and we're pretty sure that's what it is. It's been stomping around on the set. This isn't the first time. I know it's not going to be the last.
Yeah, deer are a pain. They're not as bad as cows, but they're a real pain. So curious about the scent, the fresh dirt, whatever. So anyways.
At least it's not in the trap.
Which is pretty unlikely, but yeah. Actually, it's very unlikely.
Hey, I got something.
Congratulations, Zach.
Thank you.
Did it!
Well, I got my first coyote.
Congratulations, Zach. Very well done.
Thank you.
I think you got fairly good instructors.
I did. Jake and Charlie, very good instruction where to set it. Used some Vixen Elixir, Top Dog, and some long distance on this one. Right along the trail here, I was told this was a good spot. Nothing yesterday, but good catch today.
And it's actually a nice coyote.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Very good. Very cool.
Well, it smells like a coyote out here.
Yep, sure does. Yeah. All right, check day 3, third coyote of the day. So we got coyote this morning. Zach caught a coyote, caught another coyote right here. So pretty cool. Pretty decent day. So we'll take it. This one definitely smells like a coyote. You know, some of them really have that smell.
Let me guess. Top dog?
Yep.
Of course.
Top dog, Vixen, and I don't know if I put long distance on this one or not. And I'll tell you, in this mild weather, typically we don't use a lot of long distance at home because stuff likes to roll in it, and we've had a little bit of trouble with that here. But the bobcats love the smell of skunk, so that's the reason we use more long distance here than we do typically in farm country at home. But anyways, it's working. So connected with this coyote.
The love-hate thing.
He's in there good.
Being there good.
Yep.
He's shy for
Want
the
me to try
camera.
and get him in front here for you? The film?
All right, Zach is on a roll. The new trapper, the beginner trapper, has actually connected with a bobcat today too. So a coyote, and his very first coyote, and certainly his very first bobcat. Pretty awesome.
Indeed. Glad to pull up here and see the bobcat. It's good to get a bobcat and a coyote in the same day. And I don't typically know what you guys get or how much you get, but I feel like that's pretty good.
Good job.
Yeah, that's really, you don't really have a baseline. So yeah, this is really good. So yeah, very cool.
Cool.
All right, end of the day, check day 3. 3 coyotes and a bobcat, and Zach caught a coyote and a bobcat.
Both of these.
Yeah, so first time trapper.
Welcome to the club, cameraman.
Yeah, welcome to the club. So
Thank you.
Jake's longtime friend, and came with us on this trip basically to help us out with filming. So he's a media major in college, so kind of went hand in hand. So made Justin's job a little easier, or a lot easier.
I can show up late and
Sleep in the
I
truck.
can trap and not have to worry about grabbing cameras. And it's working out nice so
Yep.
far.
Yep.
All we gotta do is keep catching.
Yep, exactly. So, anyways, looking forward to check day 4 tomorrow. Yeah. All right, so we keep hearing about bobcat back straps being good to eat. Haven't tried it, so we're actually going to take it out of the smaller one here and give it a try when we get home. So we normally keep all the bobcat carcasses, and we buy bobcat carcasses too for making top dog. But we're going to sacrifice these loins on this bobcat here to try and eat it. So
Nothing goes to waste.
nothing goes to waste. So anyways, that's what we're doing.
Leatherwood Trapping Sense. Success speaks for itself.
Product highlight. We have 2 new whitetail packages, and they're called sample packages. Kind of took the idea off of the trapping packages that we have. So we've got a 4-ounce package and we have an 8-ounce package. And each package contains 1 bottle of lip liquor, whitetail gland, doe and heat, regular doe urine, buck urine with tarsal, and fresh earth. So you get one of each one of those. The one package is 4 ounce and the other package is 8 ounce. So you get a sample of everything we have, and then that is at a discounted price as well. So you might, for those of you that are deer hunters, you might check those out on the website or in the new catalog that's coming out here at the end of the month. and give those a shot. So it's pretty much got you covered clear across the board. So.
Alright, just want to do a little quick tutorial here on skinning coyotes. I know it can be a little overwhelming for beginners getting started in the field. A lot of research they do is on what traps to use, where to put them, what to bait, lure, all that, and what to do to catch them. But once they do succeed out in the field, then they're scratching their head, okay, now what? Now how do I stretch this on a board so I can sell it? So we have a coyote right here. We're going to demonstrate that. This is just a quick basic skinning demo here. We got a sharpener, a single knife, tail stripper here, and a way to string him up. And this is no fancy way of doing it. It's just quick, easy in the field. This coyote was caught a few hours ago, so rigor mortis is already starting to settle in. It's a little harder to deal with. They don't move as much, but you can fight through it and it's pretty good. But ideally, if you have time and you're in the proper situation, if you catch the coyote, if you can skin him right then and there, more power to you. It's great because they peel a lot easier. They're just easy to work with. So we'll go ahead and get started on this one here. First thing you want to do is get him by the back foot here. Any old dog chain choker, this is nothing fancy. A chain with a loop will work. Pick any leg you want here on the back, 1 foot. And we're going right behind that heel. Then we're just going to hoist him up. We're in Arkansas today trapping. We've trapped a little bit everywhere in the south and out west, and of course in the Midwest back at home. Charlie just caught this one, like I said, a few hours ago. We're actually filming for our YouTube show. Figured this would be a good little segment to throw out. So I got him kind of low right now, and I can readjust this as needed. I want him low to start because I'm going to start on his hind quarters. Let's see if that holds. Okay, kind of the first thing to do, if you can't do it in the field, that's fine. You can do it later after you skin it, but it's easier when the hide's still on the carcass. Just get a quick comb through here, checking for burrs, because later on when you go to scrape this, you take your fleshing knife and you hit a burr, it's just going to pop a nice hole there, and obviously that's not what we want. These coyotes are not worth that much down here in the south in the first place, but this one's not that rubbed up or anything, so we'll go ahead and skin it and make use of it. So didn't find any burrs, pretty clean. Then from here we're gonna go from the ankle down to the vent on both sides, and also down the tail, and I'll show you a little trick on the tail area. There we go. Just follow that back of the leg. Normally I would probably do this on the tailgate beforehand. It's a little easier before you hang them, but you get the idea of doing this. So there's one slit there. We can come up here, start another one. Going straight down. So we have, the knife I'm using here is nothing fancy. It's a Dexter Russell knife, orange handle, but it's everything we skin at the shop for me is, this is what I use. So it's a nice little knife for the price. Fairly inexpensive. It holds a decent edge. So I'm just kind of working around this area here, getting it, we call this part getting it started. It's like the beginning of the opening here. You see in here a little better. Now on this heel here, we don't have to go all the way down to the foot. You can I usually open up one side and I can pierce my thumb through there like that. That clears a way for the knife, and come down and just slice it like that. Now you're free. And then from here you can kind of pull it a little bit. If it's still warm, it would peel a little better. This one not so much. It's got a little bit to him. Should be pretty obvious, but I'll go ahead and say it. When you're going to peel the skin, careful where this hand is with this knife. You're peeling, you come off and, you know, jab yourself by accident. I'm sure it happens. Rule with knives is always kind of cut away from your body. So just throw that out there. So this leg's coming off pretty good here, as you can tell. Let's go over here to this leg. Yeah, I'm just peeling down. Slowly but surely. So there we have pretty much both legs exposed here. Make sure I got a clean cut. You don't want to go. Say if you accidentally nick a hole. If you go to pull, you have to be aware of that because you might just stretch that hole out. So keep that in mind when you're working through this. Okay, I'll show you this part. Here was the base of the tail. We went this way and this way. Now we have the tail itself. Now I need to get under it. A lot of times you can pop your thumb through, or finger or pinky, to clear it up or free it up. Now it's freed up. Instead of working it all the way down, which you can, it will take a longer time. I usually like to get, 5 or 6 inches down, just make that incision down and work it a little bit. Here's where the tail stripper comes in handy. It's pretty basic. In and out. This varies the size of the hole that you want around the base of the tail. So we're going to put it here and bring it down to the end and close it. Now here's a common mistake. Right here, you can get a hold of it and pull down. A lot of times you can pop the bone out of there and you're fine. Well, sometimes the way that grabs, you could accidentally rip the tail out. So more of a safer method is grab here and grab this space up here with your other hand, and you're actually pulling apart at the same time. It's kind of like pulling a bow back. You're not pulling all this way, you're pushing and pulling at the same time, all that energy. So you can strip this out without ripping the tail out. Just like that. See how it popped out? Nice, clean. Very important step here you don't want to forget. Now that you've pulled out, you need to split the rest of the tail down. Otherwise it will spoil and rot on you. You got to get that opened up. So now we're free and clear on the, there's the tail. And then on this underside, we're just gonna peel as much by hand. Get this area here together. You don't need this on the back end. So we're opened all the way around now, as you can see. Does that look good to you, cameraman?
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm gonna adjust him up a little bit, so I'm not killing my back. It's easier to move them. Try to work smarter, not harder. This is better on your back for sure. Pull this down. About a little high, but I know I'm gonna sag a little bit. Okay, at this point, like I said, he's semi-warm but kind of stiff. I'm gonna pull him down as much as I can with my hands without using the knife. Safer that way, less holes. Might require a little muscle, but you can peel it. What I do is I take my hand and I usually kind of curl that up, and you can like roll your knuckles in. All the way around. Quite a bit of fat on this guy. This white here, all this is fat. So this coyote was eating good out here. Rabbits and whatnot. Okay, at this point, I need to start using the knife a little bit and separate these areas. If you want to come a little closer, I can show you what I'm looking for to cut. This is all meat and fat up here, and this is distinct line here. That wider area, that's the hide. Sometimes it's hard to tell depending on the animal where you need to cut, but a safe bet is just go high. If you can't tell where to go here, take your knife and go up high with it and just slowly come down. Putting pressure on it, constant pressure in the areas you're cutting, will help that pop open too. Just nice and slow like that. And once you free some of this up, you can go back to kind of pulling on it again. See, it can be kind of tedious doing all this, but just take your time and get it done. Turn on the radio, or better yet, turn on the Trap House podcast. I'd say the biggest part people struggle with this is where we're getting ready to get to. And maybe starting it can be a little confusing of where to initially cut. But as you can see, this midsection, just getting it going wasn't too bad. You could peel it. If you can't pull it by hand like that, you just have to take your time and make cut by cut, work it down, peel it down, just like I'm doing this section here. There's the back of the head here. So at this point, you're at the shoulder below, or in the armpit area. Very challenging spot. But if you have a piece of rebar, or in this case I'm using my actual piece of skinning steel, you can poke in there and free up a spot. So I'm going back above the shoulder into the armpit, and I'm trying to clear it into here with it. See how that popped through? But when you go to pull down on this to try and create space, don't use the handle because you could bend the handle. Use the whole steel. Grab on the steel over here and over here. See how that peeled real nice? Got a nice window here. Same thing over here. I'm in there. And just put your weight on it. Peeled it down. So now we're free. We're coming up to the spot where we cut the legs free. There's a lot of arteries down in this area of the neck and arms. If you nick those, it's not the end of the world. It's just gonna be a little bit more messy and bloody. No big deal. So I'm just below the elbow, and that's where I ring them off. On both sides. There you go. So we're down to the head. Right here, there's this artery right here, this dark one. If you can see that. That's the one you don't want to hit, just because, just barely touch your knife over it, because that one bleeds crazy. Just keeps things a little cleaner. Like I said, not the end of the world if you do. Keep working it down. Okay, now we're here. The best way I can tell people on this part, because it all looks the same to them if it's their first time doing it, is feel. You'll feel that. You can see how I'm grabbing it. That's like a little cavity there. That's actually the base of the ear. Grab on each side. And if you're unsure where to cut, like I said, go high. So I'm gonna, to demonstrate, I'll go back even further, back here. See, there's the ear canal right there. And you can get your finger in there and get a hold of it, put pressure, peel that back a little bit, and there's same thing on the other side. Okay, both ears. After the ears, we're going to end up coming to the eyes. Same thing, feel with your fingers. You could feel where that eye socket is. Keep your knife high. You'll cut over it. There's one. I can actually put my finger in there and pull down so I don't slice the eye. So pretty easy. Come over here, same thing. I can tell, I can feel it. I'm cutting it high. So there it is, two eyes. Now you come to the mouth. You're on the side and the corners. You can feel that groove too. Just pop your knife in there and pull out on both sides. Same with this side. See that? Now you can just put your hand in there to hold on and pull down as you cut down. This area here, there's not a lot of fat and meat and things like that. So your knife will come in contact with bone, which can dull it pretty easily. So keep that in mind. Sometimes I'll have two knives, one for cutting on fur and bone, because cutting on top of fur will dull your knife as well. But since we're here in the field, we're just getting it done with this one, sharpening as needed. So there was the nose. You can feel that, it's soft cartilage there, and just pop that off like that. Now we're down to the chin. Now for selling purposes, a lot of them don't keep the chin, they actually just cut it right there and be done with it. But if you wanted to tan this and keep it for yourself, we usually keep them on, they just look kind of cool. We also do taxidermy. Totally different process of skinning. If you were going to try and mount something like this and you're in the field, I would suggest call your taxidermist to see how they would prefer it, depending on the type of mount you want. But that's it, bottom lip. Now at this point, if you're in the field, you don't have time to scrape, you need to get this in the freezer as fast as you can, and the best way to freeze it is hair side out. It helps eliminate that skin side from getting freezer burnt if you don't get to it in time. So you can give this a little wash later, a bath if needed, but that's it.
Hags Trapping Products by J3 Outdoors, the most versatile and efficient trapping devices on the market.
Who's Your Trapper Deer Sense? Success speaks for itself.
Product highlight. We do have the new Duke 650 offsets. It's pretty much like their 550 offset, except it's just larger. 4-coiled, and those are available on the website. They've got the Posi-Triptile style pan. So we do have them available. Like, it's a lot of trap. So, you know, for those of you that are coyote trappers specifically, it would be just fine. But anyways, we do have these available on the website.
All right, season 9. Thanks for joining us. Got a few things to mention. The new catalog is at the printer currently. Should be another few weeks or so before we can start sending those out. If you would like one, you can give us a call at the number below, or visit us at HoosierTrapperSupply.com, and we'll be glad to send you one. You can request one there, and we're going to have an option also on the website to print your own catalog here soon, so keep an eye out for that. Also follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, of course YouTube. So keep up with us on there. And I've also started a trapping group called the Catch Circle. That's for anyone and everyone that loves trapping, basically. So jump on there. We'd like to hear from you. And then we also have the Fur Shed series on YouTube still continuing. And the Trap House podcast is still out there. So, and that's on all streaming platforms. Spotify, iTunes, the list goes on. YouTube, of course. So stay up to date with the podcast, and we'll see you next time.
Join us September 4th for the next episode of Who's Your Trapper Outdoors.